Frank Brigtson's namesake restaurant's fame was earned, as they say, the old-fashioned way. He cooks the line in a small kitchen every night, personally deals with vendors, and even handwrites the daily menu. With prodigious cooking talent, he elevates Creole Acadian cuisine like this oyster gratin.
And we're going to start by making our topping. We take some grated Italian Parmesan cheese, some finely grated French breadcrumbs, and melted butter. This is unsalted butter. And this is hot Hungarian paprika, which will give it a little bit of spice and a nice color. We're going to mix that up. And this will go on top of our oysters at the end. Okay? Now we're going to make our Italian sausage here. You could use store-bought sausage or from your local butcher, but it's relatively easy to make. We're going to start with some olive oil. You can use extra virgin, but in cooking you really don't need that. You can use just regular pure olive oil. And we're going to use fresh ground pork today, which is my preference. You can also use ground beef, or you could use a combination if you like. And we're going to start this on low heat so that the pork browns nice and slowly. And when you go to your butcher, you usually have a choice of hot or sweet Italian sausage, the hot being made with red pepper and the sweet being made with fennel or anise. We're going to do a combination today. We're going to do hot and sweet using crushed red pepper flakes and also some whole anise seeds, which is my preference. This is one of those unusual dishes where you're using a combination of meat and seafood, but I find that the seasonings that are in the Italian sausage really complement the salty, flinty taste of the oysters. It's a nice combination. This is ground pork loin, which is pretty lean. You can also use pork butt or something with a little more fat to it. Once your pork starts to brown a little bit, we're going to raise the heat, and we're going to add some diced yellow onion. And this is a rather small batch of sausage, so it's going to be a relatively short cooking time. So you want to get your seasonings in fairly early in the cooking process. So we're going to add some minced fresh garlic, salt, the crushed red pepper flakes, keep that stirring. And now the main seasoning, which is the whole anise seeds. We're going to add some oregano. I'm using dried here. You can use fresh. You can already smell the anise seeds starting to release their flavors. Being a dry spice, it's good to get that strong bottom heat on the bottom to wake up the flavors a little bit. Now you can see the meat is completely browned and the onions are starting to get a little soft and starting to turn clear. So what we're going to do is reduce our heat to low and let the sausage mixture simmer for a few minutes.
Now fresh oysters are shucked.
We're going to put the shucked oysters into a strainer so that we reserve some of the oyster liquor or liquid that comes with the shucked oysters. And that'll be used to flavor the dish.
The next step calls for softening chopped shallots in butter.
We'll add a little bit of our sausage mixture. Fresh spinach leaves. Just want to wilt the leaves a little bit. And then we're going to remove the skillet from the heat and add our B&B liqueur. Flame it. We'll add our shucked oysters. And you'll notice I made these oysters last because we don't want to overcook the oysters. Just lightly saute them. Add a little bit of our oyster liquor to make a sauce. Bring that to a boil. And just a teaspoon of butter to make a sauce. And finally, some shredded Romano cheese, which gives it a nice texture and flavor. And now they're ready to go into our shells. And then an oyster. And then we'll top the oysters with our cheese and breadcrumb mixture, which will give it a nice little crunch once we go under the broiler. Okay, the oysters come out of the broiler, nice and brown on top. Put them onto our presentation plate. Ready to serve.